Genghis Khan. In 1206, a fierce warrior united the nomadic tribes of Mongolia. His name was Genghis Khan, and he created the largest land empire ever. If a city surrendered to him, the people usually lived, but if a city dared to fight back, he wiped it off the map completely. He poured molten silver into the eyes of corrupt enemies just for revenge. His armies left pyramids of human skulls outside burning towns to terrify others. Vlad Tepes. In 1448, a young prince took the throne of a small land named Wallachia. Today, we know him as the real-life inspiration for Count Dracula. Vlad hated criminals, liars, and invaders with a burning passion. He punished people by lifting them up on giant, sharp wooden stakes. Once, an invading army marched toward his capital city. They stopped, turned around, and ran away in total horror. They saw a forest of 20,000 people stuck on poles, twitching in the wind. Ivan Terrible. In 1547, a young man became the very first Tsar of Russia. He started out smart, but a deep madness slowly took over his mind. He created a secret police force that dressed in all black, like ghosts. They rode black horses, carried severed dog heads, and hunted down anyone he suspected. Ivan destroyed a whole Russian city because he thought they were disloyal. In a fit of blind rage, he even struck and killed his own son. Attila Hun. In 434, a terrifying leader united the fierce tribes of the Huns. The Romans feared him so much they called him the Scourge of God. Attila and his fast horsemen swept across Europe like a deadly storm. They did not just conquer lands, they burned down every single building they saw. People said that where Attila's horse stepped, grass never grew again. He loved gold, took massive ransoms from empires, and destroyed anyone who resisted. Queen Mary. In 1553, a determined woman became the Queen of England. She wanted to change the religion of her country back to Catholicism. Mary did not use kind words to convince her people. She used fire. Anyone who refused to follow her rules was labeled a heretic, a dangerous criminal. She burned nearly 300 people alive at the stake in public squares. The people grew to fear her so much they gave her a permanent nickname. They called her Bloody Mary, a name that still echoes through history today. King Leopold. In 1885, the King of Belgium did something truly strange and greedy. He bought a massive piece of land in Africa as his own private property. He told the world he wanted to help the local people, but he lied. Instead, he turned the entire Congo into a giant, brutal forced labor camp. He forced the people to gather valuable rubber from the wild jungle trees. If workers did not bring enough rubber, his soldiers cut off their hands. Millions of innocent people lost their lives just to make one king incredibly rich. Emperor Nero. In the year 54, a young teenager became the Emperor of Rome. At first, he seemed normal, but he quickly became obsessed with absolute power. Nero loved acting and singing, and he forced politicians to watch his long shows. If someone fell asleep during his performance, they could be executed on the spot. When a massive fire burned down most of Rome, people blamed him directly. Rumors said he played his music and sang while his own city burned into ash. To save himself, he blamed a small group and tortured them in terrible ways. Qin Shi. In 221 before Christ, one powerful man conquered 6 rival kingdoms. He united them all and became the very first emperor of China. He built the Great Wall of China, using millions of poor farmers as workers. The work was so hard, and the conditions were so incredibly brutal. If a worker died from exhaustion, they were simply buried inside the wall itself. Qin hated different ideas, so he burned thousands of useful books alive. He even buried hundreds of smart scholars alive just to stop them from talking. Maximilien Robespierre. In 1793, France was in the middle of a massive, chaotic revolution. A lawyer named Maximilien Robespierre took control of the new government. He promised equality and freedom, but he brought a wave of pure terror. He created a rule where anyone suspected of being against the revolution died. For one whole year, a heavy blade called the guillotine dropped every day. 17,000 people lost their heads, often with no fair trial at all. Even a small complaint about the price of bread could get you executed quickly. Tomás Torquemada. In 1483, a powerful monk was put in charge of the Spanish Inquisition. His mission was to find and punish anyone who secretly practiced other religions. Tomás believed he was doing good, which made him even more dangerous. He used advanced torture systems to force people to confess their hidden sins. They used heavy ropes to stretch bodies and poured water down people's throats. Thousands of people were burned alive in giant, public religious ceremonies. He created a web of fear where neighbors constantly spied on each other to survive.